Good evening. Election results have been coming in for parts of England and in Scotland and Wales. The Conservatives are celebrating a major victory in the Hartlepool by-election, winning the seat for the first time in more than 60 years. Meanwhile, in Scotland, votes in the Parliament elections are still being counted, with the SNP hoping to secure an outright majority and further their calls for another independence referendum. Results so far suggest it could be incredibly close. Damien Grammaticus reports.
A Tory triumph, not the balloon, that wasn't the best likeness, but for Boris Johnson this was another Labour stronghold demolished. Jill Mortimer is the first Conservative MP to represent Hartlepool in 57 years.
If there's a lesson out of this whole election campaign, the whole local election campaign across the whole of the UK, it's that the public want politicians to get on with focusing on their needs and their priorities.
In council elections, Conservatives took control of Nuneaton and Bedworth in the West Midlands and Basildon in Essex. Glum Labour faces as Harlow in Essex went to the Tories, and Dudley in the West Midlands too.
Well, I'm bitterly disappointed in the results, and, I take full responsibility for the results, and I will take full responsibility for fixing things.
The Greens have been picking up seats here from Labour in Sheffield.
Well done, fantastic!
The Liberal Democrats from the Conservatives in Cambridgeshire. In the Welsh Parliament election, Labour has lost the Vale of Clwyd to the Conservatives, but won Rhondda from Plaid Cymru. Scotland's Parliament is where the result could be the most consequential.
Well done.
The SNP has taken Ayr and Edinburgh Central. The question here, can Nicola Sturgeon get an overall majority? If so, how soon might she push for independence? North and south of the border, the final shape of things will only be clear over the weekend. But what happens in Scotland could take some of the wind out of Boris Johnson's celebrations. Damien Grammaticus, BBC News.
And in other news, the international travel ban for England will start to be lifted slowly in 10 days' time. Portugal, Israel and Gibraltar are on a list of just 12 green countries that you will be able to travel to without quarantining on return. Meanwhile, Turkey, the Maldives and Nepal have all been added to the red list for travel. And adults under the age of 40 will now be offered an alternative to the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine because of concern over rare blood clots. Under 30s were already being offered a different jab. You can get more coverage of the election results on the BBC News channel right now. I'll be back with the news at 10. Goodbye.